Hello everyone, welcome to Mr. Rich Channel. In this video, I'll show you how I started trading with just $2 and grew it using my premium compounding strategy that I've developed and tested myself. This is not just another random method. I call it the Mr. Rich Compounding Strategy, a highly accurate system that uses only two indicators, moving average and MACD, with a smart and structured approach. This strategy has never been made public before, only shared within my VIP group. But now I'll demonstrate it live so you can see exactly how it works in real time. Why is this strategy so powerful? It doesn't rely on intuition or luck. It's based on clear technical confirmation and structured execution. It combines risk control with an aggressive compounding approach. If you're tired of messy indicators, inconsistent signals, or blind entries, this could be the strategy that changes your trading journey forever. Watch until the end. I'll show you live trades, real-time analysis, and real profits, even from a tiny starting balance. And if you want to learn the full system, you can join my VIP club absolutely free, just by following the simple steps in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because I'll continue sharing elite strategies here for serious traders only. Alright, in this market setup, I decided to open a buy position, and here's why from a technical perspective. If you look closely at the last candle, it's clearly a hammer candle that has formed right on the red line, which currently acts as a strong support level. Hammer candles like this are a classic price action signal, often indicating a potential bullish reversal, especially after a strong bearish move. What makes this setup even more reliable is that the red line has served as a support level multiple times in the past, and each time price hits it, we see a bounce. So, the combination of price reacting at a key support level and the appearance of a hammer pattern gives us strong confirmation to enter a buy position. Let's see how the market responds to this setup. Perfect. The market moved up just as expected, and we secured another solid profit using this clean and disciplined strategy. Let's move on and open up the next market opportunity. All right. I opened a buy position in this market for two strong technical reasons. First, if we look at the MACD indicator, we can clearly see an upcoming crossover forming between the signal line and the main line. Such crossovers are often early indicators of a trend reversal, especially when supported by other market conditions. Second, the latest candle shows a clear bounce off the red line, which serves as a key support level. A bounce from support usually signals that selling pressure is fading and buyers are starting to step in. The combination of a MACD crossover and a price rejection from a strong support area makes this a great moment to enter a buy position. Let's see the result. Perfect. The market moved up and we secured another profitable trade. Let's keep the momentum going and open the next market. Alright, I decided to open a buy position because based on technical analysis, the trend clearly appears to be moving upward. Here's why. Every resistance level that previously held the price down has been successfully broken. This indicates that buyers are currently dominating the market. When resistance levels are broken repeatedly, it's a strong confirmation that a bullish trend is in play and will likely continue. Breaking through resistance is not just a technical event. It reflects real market strength and buying pressure that pushes the price higher. Additionally, there's no major pullback or rejection after the breakouts, which strengthens the momentum. That's why I confidently entered this buy trade. Let's see what happens. Profit again? Amazing. Let's move on to the next market. Alright, I decided to enter a buy position on this market because there are strong technical signals aligning in our favor. First, I noticed a bullish crossover on the moving averages, where the green line crosses above the yellow one. This is typically the early sign of an emerging uptrend. Second, the MACD indicator also shows a bullish crossover, with the green line cutting above the red line. This reinforces the idea that buying momentum is starting to build up. When both indicators, the moving average and the MACD, confirm the same direction, it's usually a high probability buy setup. Let's see how it turns out. Another profit. Fantastic. Let's move on to the next market. All right, I entered a buy position in this market based on a strong technical signal that suggests a potential upward move. If you look closely, the latest candlestick has touched the upward sloping support line, which acts as a dynamic trendline support. When price reacts at this level, it often triggers a bullish bounce, as buyers tend to step in at key support zones. Although the previous market structure showed some weakness, this touch on the rising support could indicate the beginning of a trend reversal, or at least a short-term correction to the upside. That's why I decided to take a buy position early, to catch the possible upward momentum from this support level. Let's see the result. Profit. The analysis worked perfectly. Let's move on to the next market. All right, I entered a buy position in this market because there are strong technical indications that the trend is currently bullish. First, we can clearly see that green candlesticks are dominating the chart, a strong sign that buyers are in control, and market momentum is moving upward. Second, all the lines on the moving average indicator are pointing upward, which means the average price over time is consistently increasing, a classic sign of a strong uptrend. Third, the MACD lines, both red and green, are also sloping upward, confirming that bullish momentum is building and strengthening. With these three confirmations, dominant green candles, aligned upward MA lines, and a bullish MACD, this is clearly a high probability buy setup. Let's see the result. Another profit. The technical analysis played out perfectly. Let's move on to the next market. All right, I opened a buy position in this market based on a strong technical signal. The main reason for this entry is a bullish crossover on the MACD indicator, where the MACD line crosses above the signal line. This is a classic and highly reliable signal that suggests a potential trend reversal to the upside, or at least a temporary upward move. This crossover occurred after a period of market weakness, which strengthens the signal as buyers begin to take control. By entering at this early stage, I aim to capture the momentum as the market starts to move upward. Let's see how it plays out. Another profit. The strategy worked flawlessly. Let's move on to the next opportunity. All right, I entered a sell position in this market due to a very clear technical signal. If we observe closely, the last two candles have touched the red line, which I use as a strong resistance level in my strategy. This red line isn't just decorative. It marks a critical price barrier where price often gets rejected. When price hits resistance and fails to break above it, it signals that selling pressure is increasing. In this case, both candles failed to close above the resistance, indicating a loss of bullish momentum. Based on this analysis, I chose to sell at this key rejection point, anticipating a downward move or a bounce off the resistance. Let's see how this plays out. Profit again. Our analysis was spot on. Now, let's open the next market. All right, I decided to take a sell position in this market due to a strong technical reason. First, we can clearly see that this area serves as a resistance zone, where after a strong uptrend, the market started consolidating into a sideways range. indicating indecision between buyers and sellers. The most recent candle is positioned right at the top boundary of this sideways area, directly touching the resistance level that has been tested multiple times in the past. This shows that price is struggling to break through that level. Typically, when price touches a resistance during a consolidation phase, there's a high probability of a downward rejection. Since no valid breakout has occurred, I see this as a great opportunity for a sell position. Let's see the result. Okay, I'm taking a sell position in this market due to a very clear technical signal. If we look closely, the recent candles have repeatedly touched the red line, which in my strategy acts as a strong resistance level. When a candle touches the red line, especially without breaking above it, that's often a sign that price has a high probability of rejecting downward. In this case, there's no strong breakout confirmation, and no candle bodies are closing above the red line. That gives me enough reason to enter a sell, expecting bearish pressure to take over. Let's see if the analysis plays out. All right, profit. Our strategy continues to prove its accuracy. Let's move on to the next market. Okay, I'm taking a buy position in this market for a very clear reason. First, if we observe carefully, not a single candle has closed below the green line. In my strategy, the green line serves as the main trend line, and as long as price action stays above it, the bullish structure remains valid. Second, both the green and yellow moving average lines are sloping upward, which gives further confirmation that the uptrend is still likely to continue. Based on all these technical confirmations, I decided to enter a buy position. Let's see if the analysis plays out. All right, profit. Our signal proves to be accurate once again. Let's move on to the next market. All right, I decided to take a sell position in this market because the price has touched the red line, which I use as a key resistance level. In my strategy, the red line serves as a major upper boundary, where price often reverses or gets rejected. When a candle touches this line, especially after an uptrend, there's a high probability of a downward reversal. So I'm capitalizing on this setup by entering a sell position, expecting the market to bounce back down from this resistance zone. Let's see how it goes. Okay, profit. As expected, the price reversed from the red line and we secured another win. Let's move on to the next market. All right, I decided to take a buy position in this market because I see that the current trend is clearly moving upward. This is evident from the consistent formation of bullish candles, indicating that buyers are currently dominating the market momentum. In addition to that, I also noticed a bullish crossover happening on the MACD indicator, which is one of the strongest technical signals used to identify trend reversals or trend continuations. So, with both confirmations, an uptrend structure and a MACD crossover to the upside, I'm confident this is the right time to enter a BI position. Let's see what happens. All right, profit. As expected, price continued to climb. Let's move on and open the next market. All right, I decided to take a sell position in this market based on strong technical signals. First, I observed that the moving averages are about to form a crossover, which often serves as an early indication of a potential trend reversal. Second, the MACD indicator has already confirmed the bearish signal with a downward crossover, suggesting that selling pressure is starting to take control of the market. This combination of an upcoming MA crossover and an already confirmed MACD crossover gives me high confidence that a downtrend is about to begin. Let's see how it goes. All right, profit. The market dropped just as expected. Now let's open the next market. Alright, I decided to take a buy position in this market based on several strong technical reasons. First, I observed that the major resistance level has been clearly broken, indicating that buying pressure is strong enough to push through the previous supply zone. Following that breakout, 2 consecutive Marubozu candles appeared, which typically signal strong buyer dominance and confirm that bullish momentum is taking over. Additionally, all moving average lines are pointing upward, supporting the idea of a developing uptrend. On top of that, the MACD indicator is also showing upward movement, with both lines rising and moving away from the zero line, suggesting sustained buying strength. With confirmations from multiple indicators, I'm confident that the price will continue to rise in the near term. Let's see how it plays out. Alright, profit. Apologies, everyone. One of the trading positions was not recorded because OBS Studio suddenly crashed during the screen recording process. However, the trade was still executed using the same strategy, and the result followed our analysis perfectly. Thank you for your understanding. Let's continue with the next trade as usual. Okay, I've entered a buy position on this market for several strong reasons. First, every time the candle touches the red line, it consistently reverses direction, indicating that this red line acts as a very effective dynamic support zone. Second, there's a potential crossover forming in the moving average, signaling a possible bullish momentum. And third, if we observe closely, the MACD lines are also preparing to cross upward, with the histogram beginning to show green strength. With this combination, strong support at the red line, momentum from the MA, and confirmation from the MACD. I believe this is a great moment to open a buy position. Let's see how it goes. Okay, profit. That's awesome. Let's move on to the next market. Okay, I decided to take a sell position on this market because, as you can clearly see, the trend is obviously bearish. The market is moving down steadily, dominated by red candles, and there's no strong indication of a reversal just yet. As a trend-following trader, I prefer not to go against the market. Instead, I simply follow the trend, because the probability of success is always higher when you're trading in the same direction as the momentum. So I entered a sell here based on the overall market condition. Let's see the result. Okay, profit. Let's jump into the next setup. Okay, I decided to take a buy position on this market based on a strong technical confirmation. If you observe closely, the last 3 candles are gradually increasing in size, indicating growing bullish pressure. Then, on the 3rd candle, we saw the formation of a Marubozu candle, a full-bodied candle with no lower wick, signaling strong buying momentum. What's even more important is that this candle closed above the green line, which is my moving average trend indicator. This setup provides a solid confirmation that the market has a high potential to continue moving upward. That's why I confidently entered a buy position. Now, let's see the result. Okay, profit. Great result. Let's move on to the next market. Alright, I decided to enter a sell position on this market, and here's the solid technical reasoning behind it. First of all, if you take a closer look, the overall trend is clearly bearish. We're seeing a consistent formation of lower highs and lower lows. In addition, the moving averages are sloping downward, confirming that sellers are still dominating the market. What strengthens this decision even further is the fact that not a single candle has closed above the green line, which I use as a key trend indicator. As long as price remains below this level, the probability of a continued downtrend remains high. With all that in mind, I confidently entered a sell position. Now let's see the result. Okay, profit. Just as predicted. Let's move on to the next market. All right, that's enough for today's trading session. I've decided to stop at the right moment because as a professional trader, I know that greed kills consistency. And today's result is simply amazing. I started with only $2, and now my balance has grown to $313,136. This isn't luck. It's the result of executing a highly accurate compounding strategy using just two indicators, moving average and MACD. This strategy is something I developed, tested, and refined myself. And the outcome? A 100% win rate during this session. If you want to learn exactly how this strategy works, you can join my VIP club. So don't wait any longer. Take the step today to change your financial future. See you in the next video, and always trade with discipline.